There are places in the universe where death would not arrive as a moment, but as a process so strange, so absolute, that the human mind can barely hold it. Places where your blood would boil without heat, where time would slow into something almost cruel, where even atoms begin to forget the quiet agreement that makes your body possible. We like to imagine exploration as heroic, a flag in the dust, a footprint in silence. But if humanity ever goes far enough, there will come a point where we are no longer visiting worlds. We are trespassing into regions reality never meant for life. On Earth, danger still feels familiar. A storm, a cliff edge, the black pressure of the deep ocean. Even in the coldest desert or on the highest mountain, the planet is still, in some hidden way, trying to keep you alive. There is air somewhere above you, warmth somewhere below, gravity that knows your bones. Earth is violent, yes, but it is a violence shaped around us. The truly dangerous places begin where that relationship ends. Imagine the moon first, not because it is the worst, but because it teaches the first hard lesson. Space does not need to attack you, to kill you. It only has to do nothing. No air, no pressure, no sound. Daylight hot enough to scorch equipment, night cold enough to shatter it. The silence there is not peaceful. It is the silence of a world that cannot notice your existence. One tear in a suit, one failed valve, one wrong step into shadow, and suddenly the human body, so confident on Earth, becomes a temporary container in the wrong environment. The moon is close enough to dream about. That is what makes it unsettling. The first truly lifeless place is already hanging above us, but the moon is still gentle compared with Venus. From a distance, Venus looks almost poetic. Bright, elegant. The evening star. For most of human history, it glowed in our sky like a promise. Up close, it is one of the most brutal places in the solar system. The atmosphere is so dense, it crushes with the weight of an ocean. The heat is hot enough to melt lead. Clouds carry acid. The surface is hidden beneath a pressure so immense that landing there is less like arriving on a planet and more like descending into a planetary machine designed to erase delicate things. If you stood on Venus, you would not really have time to understand where you were. The world would explain itself instantly, not through beauty, but through force. And yet Venus raises a deeper question. Why do some worlds turn against life so completely? Earth and Venus are almost the same size. They were built from similar material. They formed in the same neighborhood. One became forests, rain, memory. The other became a warning visible from millions of kilometers away. That is one of the darkest realizations in planetary science. Habitability is not a guarantee. It is a narrow truce. A brief chemical balance. A climate that did not tip too far in the wrong direction. When we look at Venus, we are not just seeing another planet. We are seeing how thin the line may have always been. Then there is Jupiter, a world so large it changes the emotional scale of everything around it. People often imagine danger as a surface, a place to stand. But Jupiter teaches another lesson. Some places kill you before you ever arrive. Its radiation belts are so intense they could cripple electronics, flood living tissue with invisible damage, and turn a nearby mission into a countdown. Even its moons live under threat. Io caught in Jupiter's grip is tortured by gravity itself. Its surface breaks open with constant volcanic violence. sulfur, plains, lava, lakes, a sky haunted by the giant planet filling half the horizon. Stand there, if standing were possible, and you would realize the universe has other ways to create hell besides heat and fire. Sometimes all it needs is gravity pulling from the wrong direction, again and again, until an entire world cannot stop suffering. And then there is the sun. We speak of it with warmth because it feeds every ocean, every leaf, every breath we have ever taken. But move closer, and you meet the star beneath the symbol. Near its surface, matter becomes unstable. Magnetic storms rise like walls, and radiation turns space into a battlefield no soldier could enter. The sun is not burning in the way wood burns. It is fusing itself under impossible pressure, every second converting mass into light on a scale beyond ordinary language. To approach it too closely is to discover that the thing sustaining your life has no mercy at all. This is one of the oldest truths in existence. What gives life can also annihilate it. Sometimes they are the same force, viewed from different distances. If Jupiter is overwhelming, neutron stars are almost offensive to common sense. They are what remains when a massive star dies and its core collapses so completely that matter is packed beyond anything human intuition was built to understand. A mountain there could outweigh civilizations. A teaspoon of material would carry more mass than cities, rivers, histories. Gravity would seize your body before you ever touched the surface. Your feet would feel a pull so much stronger than your head that you would be stretched into something less like a person and more like physics, making a point. Even the ground would not behave like ground. It would be the corpse of a star compressed into an object only a few kilometers wide, spinning with terrifying speed, radiating energy into the dark like a warning beacon. But even neutron stars have a more dangerous cousin. Magnetars. These are stars with magnetic fields so powerful, they do not merely interfere with instruments, they begin to interfere with matter itself. From a great distance, they could disrupt electronics. Closer in, they could distort the atoms in your body. Not with it, not with impact. With magnetism so extreme, it starts to rewrite the ordinary structure of existence. It is hard to feel this emotionally, because magnetism on Earth is so harmless, so invisible, so woven into compasses and children's science experiments. But scale it upward enough, and one of nature's quietest forces becomes monstrous. That is a recurring pattern in the cosmos. Nothing is truly gentle. It only seems gentle at human scale. Then the documentary usually ends with a black hole, as if the universe has saved its final trick for last. But what makes black holes frightening is not just that they destroy. It is that they challenge the very way we imagine reality. If you approached one, the danger would begin long before the famous crossing of the event horizon. The radiation from surrounding gas could sterilize space. Tidal forces could stretch you. Time itself would begin to misbehave. To a distant observer, your final moments would appear too slow. To you, the universe outside might speed forward. Whole futures could seem to flicker in the sky while you fell toward a boundary no message can ever cross back from. A black hole is not merely a trap. It is a place where the universe stops honoring the human expectation that events should remain understandable. And yet, somehow, there are places even more psychologically disturbing than black holes. Consider the center of our galaxy, not a single object, but an environment. Stars crowding together in impossible density. Radiation. Shock waves. The influence of the supermassive black hole Sagittarius. A asterisk, ruling the region with silent authority. It is a place where night would not feel empty, but overloaded. A sky so crowded and violent, it would no longer resemble home. We often fear darkness, but there are parts of the cosmos where the lights are worse. Too many stars, too much energy, too many reminders that you are living near forces vast enough to reshape solar systems. Civilization evolved under a relatively calm sky. That calm may be one of the rarest luxuries we have ever known. And then there are the places that do not kill through violence, but through absence. Interstellar space sounds peaceful until you remember what peace means there. No horizon, no sound, no nearby sun. Just a cold so complete, it feels less like temperature and more like abandonment. Drift far enough from any star, and you enter regions where rescue is not simply unlikely. It becomes physically irrational. The distances are too large, the energy cost too great. Messages take years, then decades, then longer than a human life. This is a different kind of danger. Not impact, not fire, not crushing pressure. Isolation on a cosmic scale. A place where the body might survive for a while inside a machine. But the mind would begin to understand something it was never designed to endure. That space is not an ocean with distant shores. In many directions, it is an endless exile. Even rogue planets carry this feeling. Worlds that were thrown from their systems, wandering the galaxy without a star. Imagine standing on a frozen plain under a sky with no sunrise scheduled, ever. No dawn waiting behind the horizon. No warm season hidden in orbit. Just a planet moving through darkness, carrying whatever buried heat it still possesses like the last ember of a forgotten fire. A world can exist without belonging to anything. That idea is haunting, because humans are creatures of anchors. We belong 2 days, 2 seasons, 2 gravitational routines, to the familiar path of the sun. A rogue planet is what happens when a world loses its place. It keeps going, but it goes alone. And farther still lies the intergalactic void. This may be the most underrated nightmare in the universe, because it is difficult to visualize nothing. Between galaxies are expanses so vast and empty that the nearest island of stars would be farther away than language can comfortably describe. If the solar system disappeared there, no neighboring civilization would glance over and notice the darkening. There would be no nearby suns, no dust-rich nebulae. No bright structure in the sky to suggest direction or destiny, just scattered photons crossing ancient emptiness. It is one thing to know, intellectually, that we are small. It is another to imagine a place where even our entire galaxy would count as a small thing. And still, the universe continues to escalate. There are hypothetical places near quasars, where supermassive black holes feed so violently that they outshine galaxies. Regions bathed in radiation fierce enough to sterilize worlds from inconceivable distances. There may be strange planetary surfaces made from carbon under crushing pressure, or oceans hidden beneath kilometers of ice, or atmospheres where winds move faster than sound, while temperatures break every human intuition about weather. The point is no longer to rank them neatly. The point is to feel the pattern. The cosmos is not mostly built for us. Life on Earth has trained us to expect softness where there is air, order where there is gravity, possibility where there is light. The wider universe does not make those promises. This changes the meaning of exploration. We celebrate the frontier because we imagine discovery as expansion, as if humanity is destined to move outward forever, solving each new problem with enough intelligence and courage, and perhaps, in some limited sense, We will. We may build habitats around harsh worlds. We may hide beneath ice, orbit dead stars, shelter inside machines that can outthink our fear. But every advance will carry an uncomfortable truth. We are not conquering these places. We are negotiating with them for brief moments of tolerance. Physics does not care about ambition. A Magnetar will not admire our engineering. A black hole will not pause for our curiosity. The universe can be explored, but it cannot be persuaded. There is something almost beautiful in that. Human beings are fragile in the most embarrassing ways. A thin atmosphere protects us. A narrow temperature range preserves us. A magnetic field shields us from invisible storms we rarely think about. Remove any one of these comforts, and our confidence begins to look less like strength and more like luck. Yet we keep looking up. We send machines into radiation fields. We map the atmospheres of toxic worlds. We calculate the tides near collapsed stars. We imagine visiting places that would erase us in seconds. Not because we belong there, because wonder is somehow stronger than fear. That may be the strangest thing about our species. The universe reveals itself as cold, violent, indifferent, and immense. And instead of turning away, we become more curious. We build telescopes. We write equations. We whisper to each other across generations that one day we should go and see. There is dignity in that impulse, not because it makes us powerful, but because it makes us honest. We are tiny. We are temporary. We are organisms on a thin layer of rock orbiting an ordinary star. And still, we want to understand the furnace, the void, the pressure, the collapse, the silence. Maybe that is why the most dangerous places humanity could ever visit are so important to think about. Not because we should fear them in a simple way, but because they reveal what Earth really is. A shelter so complete, we usually mistake it for normal. The blue sky is not normal. Liquid oceans are not normal. A breathable atmosphere, a stable orbit, a moon that steadies the planet, a magnetic field that turns away charged death from the sun. None of this had to happen. Home is not the default condition of the universe. Home is the miracle. And once you feel that, the night sky changes. It stops being a decorative backdrop for our lives and becomes what it truly is. A map of impossible distances, failed worlds, ancient violence, and a few precious pockets where chemistry learned how to wake up and ask questions. Somewhere out there may be other beings doing exactly what we are doing now, looking into their own darkness and realizing how rare their refuge is. Or maybe not. Maybe consciousness is vanishingly scarce. Maybe the universe is mostly storms, rock, vacuum, collapse, and time. If that is true, then every human thought, every act of care, every memory ever held on this planet becomes even more extraordinary. So when we talk about the most dangerous places humanity could ever visit, we are really talking about the edges of our illusion, the places that strip away the comforting fiction that reality is scaled to human needs. It is not. We were born in a protected corner, and for a brief span of years, that corner taught us to call itself ordinary. Beyond it lies the real cosmos, magnificent, silent, unforgiving, and beautiful in a way that does not require our survival. Perhaps that is the final lesson. Exploration is not only about reaching new worlds, it is about discovering, again and again, how improbable it is that we are here to witness any of them at all. The most dangerous places in the universe do not just threaten the body. They humble the story we tell about ourselves. They remind us that intelligence is not dominion, that curiosity is not immunity, and that life may be nothing less than a fragile rebellion against a reality of staggering indifference. And still, against all reason, we will keep going. A species made of vulnerable tissue and electric thought, carrying its questions into the dark. If this journey left you seeing the universe and Earth a little differently, let this video travel a little farther. You can support the channel with a quiet like share it with someone who still looks up at the night sky, and subscribe if you'd like to return for the next descent into the cosmic unknown.